Dear friends, as a reputable medical doctor in the United States, an expert in geriatric health and preventive medicine, I always believe that a healthy life is not only determined by the treatment of diseases, but also built from daily habits and choices. Today, I am very happy to explore with you a familiar topic, an indispensable part of modern life, but also full of questions without clear answers. Coffee. It's a cup of strong, bitter coffee every morning, a precious panacea for the liver, or a poison that silently destroys the heart. This question is not only a concern of the scientific community, but also a concern of millions of people around the world, especially in Vietnam, where coffee culture has been deeply ingrained in the subconscious and has become a unique beauty. For many people, a new day only truly begins after enjoying a cup of strong coffee. It could be a cup of slowly dripping filter coffee, a sweet cup of iced milk coffee, or a fragrant cup of espresso in a luxurious cafe. Coffee not only helps us stay awake, inspires creativity, but also acts as a catalyst for meetings, stories, and memorable moments because of its popularity and importance. It is extremely necessary to thoroughly understand the two-sided effects of coffee on health. My goal today is not to draw an absolute conclusion about whether coffee is good or bad, but to provide you with useful scientific information, helping each person make the smartest and most suitable choice for their physical condition. Then each cup of coffee is truly a complete and safe enjoyment experience. Our journey today will delve into the latest scientific evidence, analyzing both the benefits and harms of coffee objectively, especially for the two most important organs in the body, the liver, and the heart. We will learn together how coffee protects our liver, but at the same time can also cause negative effects on the cardiovascular system. I will also share practical advice so that you can continue to enjoy your favorite coffee flavor without worrying about your health, especially for the elderly and those with underlying medical conditions. Coffee, silent hero protecting the liver. When it comes to coffee, many people often only think of its stimulating effect on the nervous system to help stay awake. However, scientific research in recent years has brought unexpected good news to fans of this drink. It can be said that coffee is gradually being recognized as a silent hero, protecting our liver from many dangerous diseases. These are no longer emotional guesses, but have been proven by reputable scientific data, painting a completely new and positive perspective on our daily coffee drinking habits. As long as we consume them in moderation and reasonably reduced risk of chronic liver disease. One of the most important findings is the link between drinking coffee and a reduced risk of chronic liver disease. A meta-analysis looked at data from millions of participants and came to a remarkable conclusion. Regular coffee drinkers have a significantly lower risk of cirrhosis than non-drinkers. Specifically, drinking about 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day can reduce the risk of developing cirrhosis by up to 40%, a serious and irreversible liver damage, often the final stage of many different liver diseases. For those who already have liver disease, the habit of drinking coffee can slow the progression of the disease, helping them have a better quality of life too. Potential to prevent liver cancer. Not only stopping at cirrhosis, coffee also shows potential in preventing one of the most feared cancers, hepatocellular carcinoma. Many epidemiological studies have shown that coffee consumption is associated with a reduced risk of this type of cancer. One study showed that compared to people who do not drink coffee, people who drink 1, 2, 3 cups a day can reduce the risk of liver cancer by about 29%. This number even increases to 42% in people who drink more. This opens up a new hope in preventing this disease with a high mortality rate, which is great news for the field of preventive medicine. 3. Positive effects on fatty liver disease. In addition, coffee also has a positive effect on people with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, a condition that is increasingly common due to sedentary lifestyles and unhealthy diets. Scientists believe that drinking coffee can slow the progression of this disease, preventing it from developing into more serious forms of liver disease, such as steatohepatitis or cirrhosis. Asterisk. These evidences further strengthen the role of coffee as not only a refreshing beverage but also a potential ally in maintaining a healthy liver, the most important organ in our body. So why is coffee so magical? The secret lies in a complex of diverse biological compounds in coffee, not just caffeine, as many people mistakenly believe. Scientists have identified more than 1,000 active compounds in coffee, among which stand out powerful warriors such as chlorogenic acid, polyphenols, terpenes, such as kaffstil and kawil, antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. The liver is an organ that has to process a lot of toxins, and this process generates free radicals that damage cells, leading to chronic inflammation and eventually fibrosis. The polyphenols and chlorogenic acid in coffee act as scavengers, neutralizing free radicals, reducing oxidative stress. At the same time, they also inhibit inflammatory signaling pathways in liver cells, thereby slowing down the damage process and preventing the formation of scar tissue. Helping the liver maintain normal structure and function affects fat metabolism. Fatty liver disease occurs when too much fat accumulates in liver cells. Studies have shown that caffeine and other compounds in coffee can stimulate fatty acid oxidation, which means burning excess fat in the liver for energy. Moreover, they can also reduce the synthesis of new fat in the liver. The combination of these two effects helps reduce fat accumulation, preventing the onset and progression of fatty liver disease. Slowing fibrosis. Coffee is also believed to have the ability to slow down liver fibrosis through direct effects on stellate cells, the type of cells that play a major role in the production of collagen and proteins that form scar tissue when the liver is damaged. By inhibiting the activation of these cells, coffee helps prevent the formation and accumulation of scar tissue, protecting the liver from damage. Coffee, a double-edged sword for the heart while it has many impressive benefits for the liver. When it comes to the cardiovascular system, the story of coffee becomes much more complicated. For the heart, coffee can be both friend and foe, depending on the dosage, constitution, and underlying health condition of each person. 1. Temporarily increases heart rate and blood pressure, though. Most obvious and well-known effect of coffee is its ability to temporarily increase heart rate and blood pressure. This is because caffeine, the main stimulant in coffee, works by blocking adenosine, a neurotransmitter that has a calming effect on the body and dilates blood vessels. When adenosine is blocked, blood vessels constrict and the heart beats faster and more forcefully. For a healthy person, this increase in heart rate and blood pressure is usually temporary and does not cause any serious problems. However, for people with underlying cardiovascular conditions such as high blood pressure, arrhythmia, or coronary artery disease, this effect can become a real burden. The heart has to work harder, even for a short time, can aggravate the condition, even causing dangerous cardiovascular events such as angina or paroxysmal tachycardia. Therefore, these patients are often advised by doctors to be extremely careful and limit their coffee consumption too. Cholesterol concerns. Another concern is related to cholesterol. Some types of coffee, especially unfiltered coffee, such as traditional Vietnamese filter coffee, French press coffee, or Turkish boiled coffee, contain significant amounts of two terpenes, kaffstil and kawil. Despite some benefits, these two substances have been scientifically proven to increase the levels of total cholesterol and bad cholesterol LDL in the blood. Over the long term, high levels of LDL cholesterol are a major risk factor for atherosclerosis, a condition in which plaque builds up in the arteries, narrowing and hardening them, leading to the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Point 3. The role of genes. Why are some people sensitive to coffee? Sensitivity to caffeine is no coincidence. Modern science has discovered that the main culprit lies deep in our genes, specifically a gene called CYP1A2. This gene carries the genetic code to produce an enzyme of the same name, which operates primarily in the liver and is responsible for metabolizing about 95% of the caffeine we consume. The speed at which the CYP1A2 enzyme works determines how long caffeine stays in our blood and how strong its effects are. Fast metabolizers. People who are lucky enough to have a functioning version of the CYP1A2 gene are called fast metabolizers. They are able to break down and eliminate caffeine from their bodies quickly. For them, the stimulating effects of coffee usually last only a short time. enough to bring alertness and focus without causing unpleasant side effects such as rapid heartbeat or restlessness. Some studies even show that in this group of people, drinking coffee in moderation can be associated with a reduced risk of certain cardiovascular diseases, slow metabolizers. In contrast, people with a less active version of the CYP1A2 gene will be slow metabolizers. In them, this enzyme works at a slow pace, causing caffeine to stay in the blood much longer. This means that the stimulating effects of coffee will last longer and be stronger, easily causing negative symptoms such as anxiety, insomnia, hand tremors, especially rapid heartbeat and palpitations. For this group of people, just 1 cup of coffee in the morning can make them feel uncomfortable all day and affect their sleep at night. They are at high risk of cardiovascular problems if they consume coffee. A notable study found that in slow metabolizers, drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day significantly increased the risk of myocardial infarction. Meanwhile, in fast metabolizers, this risk did not increase and even tended to decrease slightly. This finding emphasizes that there is no one-size-fits-all advice. Understanding your body and your ability to metabolize caffeine is the core factor in making safe and smart coffee consumption decisions. If you are someone who often feels uncomfortable and restless after drinking coffee, you are most likely a slow metabolizer and should limit your intake. Choose your coffee wisely when assessing the health effects of coffee. We cannot equate all types of coffee because not all types of coffee are created equal. The brewing method plays an extremely important role. Determining the chemical composition of the final cup of coffee we enjoy and thereby directly affecting health risks. Traditional filter is coffee and unfiltered coffee. This is a typical cultural feature of Vietnam. However, due to the long contact of hot water with coffee powder and the lack of effective filter paper, a large amount of diterpenes compounds will enter the cup of coffee. DAS mentioned. These 2 substances can increase bad cholesterol levels in the blood. Therefore, if you have a history of high blood fat or are at risk of cardiovascular disease, daily consumption of filter coffee may not be the best choice for your long-term health. Coffee brewed with an espresso machine or filter paper. This is considered a safer choice for the cardiovascular system. Filter paper is capable of retaining almost all of the cafestyl and coil, while still allowing beneficial compounds such as polyphenols and caffeine to pass through. This way you can enjoy the liver and alertness benefits of coffee without worrying too much about the negative impact on your cholesterol levels. Instant coffee. While convenient, the process of making instant coffee involves roasting, extracting, and then drying it into a powder. This industrial process can reduce the beneficial antioxidant content compared to pure roasted coffee. Even more worrying, many 3-in-1 instant coffee products are often pre-mixed with large amounts of sugar, condensed milk, and trans-fat-laden plant-based creamers. Consuming too much of this sugar and unhealthy fat will negate any potential benefits of coffee and increase your risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. Golden rules for drinking coffee smartly and safely. After analyzing both the pros and cons of coffee, we can draw an important conclusion. Coffee is neither a panacea nor a poison. Whether it is good or bad depends entirely on your constitution, health status, and most importantly, how you use it. To turn a cup of coffee into a true companion for your health, you and your friends should remember the following golden rules. 1. Listen to your body. Your body is the best doctor. Pay attention to the signs it sends after you drink coffee. Do you feel more alert, refreshed, and focused? Or do you feel your heart beating faster, restless, anxious, have indigestion, or insomnia? If you belong to the second group, it is a clear signal that you should reduce the dosage or even stop drinking coffee. Do not try to force your body to adapt. If you have the means and are really concerned, considering a CYP1A2 gene test can provide accurate information about your ability to metabolize caffeine. 2. Controlled dose and timing. For a healthy adult, the recommended safe dose is no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine per day, equivalent to about 3 to 4 cups of filter coffee. Avoid drinking coffee on an empty stomach because it can stimulate the stomach to secrete more acid, causing discomfort. The ideal time to drink coffee is about 1 to 2 hours after breakfast. In particular, avoid drinking coffee in the late afternoon or evening, at least 6 to 8 hours before going to bed, so as not to affect the quality of sleep, the foundation for comprehensive health. 3. Drink original coffee. A common mistake is to turn a cup of coffee into a dessert filled with sugar, condensed milk, cream, or sweet syrups. Adding to many of these ingredients not only skyrockets the calorie count, but also increases the risk of metabolic diseases such as obesity and diabetes, completely overshadowing the inherent benefits of coffee. Practice enjoying the pure, bitter taste of black coffee, or add just a very small amount of unsweetened fresh milk if needed. Remember that the simpler, the better for your health. 4. Be a smart consumer. Prioritize pure roasted coffee with a clear origin instead of instant coffee products mixed with lots of sugar and additives. If you love the taste of filter coffee, consider it an occasional treat instead of a daily drink, especially if you have blood fat problems. Choosing paper-filtered coffee is a simple but effective way to reduce cardiovascular risks. Dear friends, the journey of discovering coffee has shown us that a familiar drink also contains extremely interesting scientific stories. As a doctor, I always want you to enjoy every aspect of life in the safest and healthiest way. Coffee can be a wonderful part of life if we understand it well and use it wisely. Sincerely, thank you. And your friends for taking the time to follow and explore with me. If you find this information useful, do not hesitate to click like and share this video so that many others can also receive these sincere health advice. Wishing you good health and happiness.